Hey guys, in today's video we're going to talk about how to make the perfect backswing in terms of how to use your right wrist. All right guys, Eric here at the Bethlehem Golf Club. I want to talk to you today about how to make the perfect backswing and how your right wrist works during the backswing. Now, before we dive into that, two things I want to talk to you guys about quickly. Number one is live view. What we're going to talk about in this video and all of the other videos we do, you constantly hear me saying to you guys, you need feedback when you're practicing. It is the one message that I want to make sure it gets across and you guys take action on is you need feedback when you're practicing. The best way to do that is through recording yourself. Now, the best way to record yourself is to see yourself simultaneously the same time as you're swinging. That's what live view does. It's our favorite product. It's the product we use to give ourselves feedback when we practice and what our students use. You actually see yourself swinging as you swing. The video plays back automatically. You have to go back and forth to your phone. So really suggest live view. We'll put a link in the description down below if you haven't checked that out already. Also want to make sure you're aware of CogornoGolf.com, our membership site and community, where you get access to all of the master classes we've done. You get access to really step-by-step guided learning. The site has all kinds of different quick fix sections, practice sections, really step-by-step guided learning, as well as our Facebook community where you can post your swings so I can watch them and give you direct personal feedback. Would love to see you guys in our community. The link will be in the description down below. So let's talk about how the right wrist works during the backswing. And if you've been a follower for a while, you know that we like to talk about the right wrist and we think it's really important. If you're new to our channel, let's kind of cover some of these things. Now, what I want to talk about is how that right wrist works during the backswing. And the caveat, whenever we have a wrist video, is it really depends on your grip. It depends on your body motions, but it really depends on your grip. But what I want to get across here are some general motions, right? So how do the wrists work in general? Maybe how do you fix kind of your wrist motions depending upon what side you fall on? And what are some of the stock feels that you should go to? So it's be more of a feel video here. So during my backswing, in terms of how my wrists move, there's kind of two main functions we're going to focus on. The first part is my wrist can bend back towards extension or bend forward towards flexion. So if I just kind of look at my palm, if I bend my hand away from the target, that would be, we'll call that bent back or extended, or I can bend my palm kind of towards the target, that would be a flex position. Now, what I want you guys to understand is, in terms of this bent back or forward, bent back is our friend. Bent back is our friend from setup, all the way through the takeaway, all the way through the top, all the way through the downswing and through impact. So that's going to be the first key. If we get our right wrist into two of a flat or even a flex position this way when we go back, typically we're going to have some club face issues. So bent back right wrist kind of throughout the backswing is the first thing I want you to keep in mind is the correct thing. So that will be part number one. Part number two is I can hinge or unhinge my wrist, right? So I can radial or ulnar or deviate. I can go thumb up or thumb down. And during my backswing, of course, there's going to be some amount of thumb up. So really what I'm doing on my way back is I'm matching, hey, how much, when, how, where do I bend my right wrist back? Because I want you to do that. And how much, when, where, whatever, do I bend my wrist up? Because I want you to have some amount of that. So kind of what I want you to think about is from the setup position, and let's go through some of these spots individually. We're going to turn this into one or two kind of simple feels here, but at my normal address position, my right wrist, if I have a neutral grip, is pretty darn flat, right? So there's not a lot of bend this way or this way. Typically that's pretty darn flat. Now, right from this spot into the first parallel position, that is going to change right away. It's going to go from a flat position into an extended position. So from here, we'll see there's going to be a bend in my right wrist or it's bent back some amount. Now, I also added a little bit of the hinge component. So I did both the bend back component and the hinge component, and I married those together to get into what I would call kind of a stock takeaway position. Now, the feel that I want you guys to take away from this, especially if you struggle with being too far inside or a face that's too open or weak shots, you want more compression, is I want you to feel like your palm works down towards the ground. So if I do my takeaway here, I want right palm down towards the ground. Now, if I go back without any of that extension, my right palm would still be facing towards the target. You see that? So the only way for me to get my palm down towards the ground is for me to add this extension in. So I can feel that in my forearm as my palm goes towards the ground. Now, as I do that, if I did just that with no hinge motion at all, that would look something like this, pretty curled under with the face tilted down. But I'm also going to add a little bit of this hinge or thumb up. So I want palm down, thumb up, palm down, thumb up. So I go back, palm down, thumb up, puts me in my takeaway position. The point that I'm most concerned with there is getting this wrist position here where I have it bent back this way. So palm down towards the ground, thumb up here initially is going to be my feel, mainly palm down. Now when I take that to my next spot, which will be left arm parallel, the feel I want you to have is that that palm is facing towards the camera. Okay, so from here, if I go back, again, it depends on the grip. I don't want the palm facing this way. That'd get my left wrist too bent, my club face too open. I want my palm facing back towards the camera, which would make my left wrist flat and my face more neutral. So during the backswing, right, those are kind of the two main feels I want you to take from this. Unless you're someone who has the club face too drastically shut, if you already hit hooks or you're too shut going back, then maybe you don't want to do this as much. But for most people, you would improve your ball striking if you got these wrist angles correct. It'd make your club face more square or close to your path and would help you de-loft it. So let's start hitting some shots here. I've just got a 7-iron. And the feels I want you to take, we know I'm going this way and this way. Those are the two main movements. Just some forearm roll, but really I'm going this way, this way. I want palm down towards the ground, palm behind me towards the camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rehearse that a couple times. Now ideally when I'm working here I have my live view up, right? This would be a perfect time to have my live view, have my iPad or phone sitting right in front of me. I can see, hey, am I actually doing this or not? Some of you guys, a lot of you are going to feel like you're going palm down and palm this way and it's going to feel like Dustin Johnson and you're going to look perfectly normal because you normally go the opposite way, and that's the point. So same thing, we'll start hitting some. So I'll go palm down, palm away. And I'm going to feel that with a 7-iron, just kind of at like 50–60% speed. Now what I would normally expect this to do, like that for me was a little bit of a pull hook because I actually did that, right? I actually closed my face to path. Now what I'm saying to you is that's a good thing. If you've watched our videos, you know that everything we preface, like how do you get good rotation? How do you get good shallow your downswing? How do you get a good pivot? You have to have your club face in order. If you look at your favorite swings, I guarantee on the way down, their club face is neutral to slightly shut. So if your new problem was your club face got too closed on the way back and you had to learn how to do what? Get your handle forward, rotate enough and have a good release pattern, that would be a nice new problem for a lot of you guys. So I look at that as a good thing there. I kind of did that well. I hit a pull hook. So how would I change my release pattern and pivot to have it not hook like that? Palm down towards the ground, palm away from me at the camera, same sort of thing. And what I'm looking for here is basically for me when I do that, the ball draws more than normal. The face is more close to the path. So again, I say, okay, that's successful. I would confirm this with my live view. Am I doing this correctly or not? And then what I want to do is say, hey, can I pivot better? Can I change my handle location and straighten out the ball flight with those pieces? So we'll go one more time. Palm down towards the ground, palm back away from me towards the camera. Same sort of feel. Good. And again, don't guess at these things, right? If you're gonna work on these wrist conditions, get the live view up, get the camera up, see what you're actually doing. Now, I brought 2 other clubs here because I know you guys are gonna ask, and it's a valid question. Should I, Eric, do the same thing with all my clubs? And the answer in general is yes, because we're talking backswing. When we talk wrist conditions during downswing, it's always gonna apply to the irons, probably to the fairway woods and the wedges. Driver's a little different because it depends on your speed. But for these, we're doing the same thing. So I have my sand wedge, same deal. Right palm down towards the ground, right palm back away from me towards the camera. Let's go ahead and do that. Palm down, palm away. Good, so I would do that same thing with a wedge. And again, as I'm doing these, I'm doing this by feel. If I was actually practicing, I'm not guessing here, right? I'm gonna look at the videos after each one or watch myself and see what's actually going on. Can I do this with the driver? Absolutely I can. Should you do this with a driver? I don't know. I'd have to see your swing, I have to see your ball flight pattern. If you are struggling with weak shots or shots that go too far to the right, I would say this is probably a decent idea for you during the backswing. Same thing with the driver. Palm down, palm away from you. Let's go ahead and hit one from there. Good, I didn't hit a drive all day and that was beautiful. So, listen, palm down, palm away from you. Now I said before that it depends on your grip, and it does depend on your grip. The reality, everything depends on something, right? And your grip pattern changes your wrist conditions. kind of in simple terms, we've done other videos we can link below, or you can search them in terms of how to match your wrist conditions to your grip. We talked about this at length. The point being, the weaker your grip is, so the hands as a right-handed golfer turned counterclockwise, where the V's more towards the left. The weaker the grip is, the more you have to do this right palm down just to get the face in line. The checkpoint at takeaway we're looking for with the club face is I don't want the club face straight toe up. I don't want it down 90. I'd probably prefer it anywhere from 5 to about 30 degrees down. So when you do your takeaway, if you're here and your face is toe up, I'd say, well, get your right palm down until the point where it's tilted down. Would you rather be tilted down 30 degrees, maybe like slightly too closed, if that's even a thing, or too far open? You'd definitely rather be slightly too closed. Again, right, let's use some common sense. If you've been hitting hooks for 30 years, then maybe you do a little bit the opposite. But if you want more compression, less right shots, tilted slightly down there, and then you would almost feel from here like the face is pointed kind of back towards the camera. Again, of course, it's probably going to be somewhere pretty neutral. So the weaker your grip, the more you have to do this. The stronger your grip, the less you have to do this. So if I had a really strong grip, turn clockwise, V's over towards my right shoulder, and I can get that club face in a tilted down position and my right palm's pointed straight this way. So some of you guys say, well, Eric, if I point my right hand down, it's down towards the ground. Well, that's because you have a stronger grip. You don't need to do it as much then. So it all depends on your grip pattern. So for me, I'm neutral, typically slightly a little weaker. So I like to feel that down a little bit more. So one more time, right palm down, right palm away from me, just a simple feel. And I want to feel like the face is a little bit more closed there. And if you guys watch swings like Dustin Johnson or Brooks Koepka or kind of newly Victor Hovland out on tour, guys that hit it good all the time, that have that face more down towards the ground, I would urge you, right, get the face square or closed going back and slightly coming down. That will motivate your brain and body to do all the rest of the stuff you guys want to do. I can't tell you how many times I'll watch your swings in the group or in person, and things will come up like, hey, I early extend, I'm over the top, or I flip. All of those things are usually rooted back to a club face or swing direction issue. So get the club face square to close, right palm down, right palm away, unless you've been hooking it. Hope that helps. You guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you liked the video, please do us a favor, click the like button down below. Click the notification bell. Also, please subscribe if you haven't. Another reminder, every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are live here on YouTube for Rapid Fire Golf. Would love to see you guys there. Thanks, guys.